Chelsea Football Club are considered the favourites to sign Michael Olise should he leave Crystal Palace. Manchester United have agreed personal terms with Branthwaite ahead of a potential move to Manchester United. Plus, we take a look at Arsenal's pursuit of a striker. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Let's go! Chelsea, as we know, spoke with Crystal Palace and have pushed for permission to speak to Michael Olise. Matt Law here reporting that they are considered the favourites to sign the winger. Chelsea are confident they will not have to pay more for Olise than a Champions League club. As we know, there is a release clause of £60 million for Champions League clubs. Of course, Manchester United and Chelsea are both in for him. Newcastle are in for him as well. None of us are Champions League clubs going into the 24-25 season. Chelsea sort of leading the way at the minute, but very, very confident that they will not have to pay more than 60 million, that a compromise can be met and a deal can be struck with Crystal Palace. One of the biggest pieces of news yesterday is that Michael Olise is keen on the Chelsea move. And there's been so many stories over the past 3 to 4 weeks in relation to Michael Olise. Where does he want to go? Where does he want to play? Which club is his preferred destination? And as of right now, I wish I wasn't saying this, but I am. It appears that Chelsea are. And every Chelsea fan you speak to, every Chelsea supporter out there, rival, we all rate this guy. We all rate Olise. I was going to say kid. He is a kid to me. I'm 38 years of age. He's a young man. He's almost young enough to be my son. Almost. I was a young father. But everybody rates him. And I think Chelsea fans have every right to be excited. Tosin has already come in. They're looking at Julian Alvarez. They're looking at Olise. The only player they're linked to that I'm not particularly impressed with, just from my opinion, you may have a different one, is Duran. But Chelsea looking so far like having potentially an absolute stellar, looking like they're having an absolute stellar summer transfer window so far. But do you think there's going to be any more twists and turns? Do you think any other team's going to come in and maybe leapfrog Chelsea in this race? Or do you think they're just going to get this done? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, moving on to Manchester United directly, the Times reported last night that Man United have agreed personal terms with Branthwaite's representatives. The agreement would result in Branthwaite being paid between £150,000 and £160,000 a week at Manchester United. And I want to start off, a few people tweeted me last night saying, Terry, can you be done for tapping up? No, we haven't gone directly to the player. Man United have used intermediaries to speak to his representation. That is not against the rules. And it's what all clubs stereotypically do. So that's buried, put aside to begin with. The player himself, we know how talented Branthwaite is. He should be with the England squad. He absolutely should be there. Excellent on the ball, powerful, commanding, good positional sense, left-footed, but can play on either side of the defense. That is what has to be focused upon. His ability on the ball to go left and right is very, very good. And there's great potential. Not the finished article, not a superstar as of right now, but the potential to become a top-class centre-back. What impresses me about this deal, in terms of the personal terms, is so far how much we're paying him. Now, of course, it's a big leap up from the 30, 40 grand a week he's currently earning at Everton. But you can't tell him he's going to be one of the centerpieces of the first summer under the major overhaul at Manchester United and not pay him accordingly. But the impressive element for me is that, typically speaking, when Man United have gone for their marquee signings, especially this early in a transfer window in the last decade, we have paid them 200, 250, 300,000 pounds, sometimes way above the level that player at this particular moment should get. I love the fact that these stories have come out in the last few days that speak of not offering managers that potentially could come in exorbitant amounts of money to begin with. You build up your money at the club as you earn it. And it looks as though we're doing very similar here in the pursuit of our new players. So that element to the side is very positive. The next area is, how do we negotiate the fee? We don't want to pay above 60 million. Everton are asking for between 70 and 80. Let's see how these negotiations go. For me, anywhere between 50 and 60 to 65 million, I think is that's the absolute upper limit. I think the valuation of this young man is. I'm very intrigued to see how we do in these negotiations. Do we overpay again? Do we get a number of millions knocked off the asking price of Everton, on this player? So for Man United fans, there's multiple levels to focus on when it comes to our transfer deals this summer. The quality we're bringing in, of course, is paramount. But how much are we paying them? How are the deals structured? And what are we actually paying the clubs, the vendors, for these individuals? Now, staying with Manchester United, an interesting story from the Mirror today. This is Ineos will listen to offers for most of the Man United squad this summer, with the only exceptions being Onana, Martinez, Delo, Garnacho, Mainu, and Rasmus Højlund. The only player I would add to this list right now is Bruno Fernandes, and I have personally changed my mind. Call me a flip-flop if you want. It's your prerogative. Bruno Fernandes is a player in the short term that I would also keep, but I understand, objectively speaking, why he's on that list because of the age, and if the right offer comes in, reinvest that money for the future. But I don't think there's a player I think every other player that is on that list, it's fair. Onana, again, objectively speaking, subjectively looking at it, Onana wouldn't be on that list for me, but we can probably park the new goalkeeper situation. How we play football next season is going to be key. When you look at, we're linked to Branthwaite, we're linked to Lenny coming in at the back, and you think suddenly if we have three centre-backs of that ilk, playing out from the back and possession-based football is going to become a huge component of what Manchester United do. But I'm glad I knew Mainu's name would be there. I knew Garnacho would be. I'm glad Rasmus's name is there as well, because I think there's a very, very talented player in Rasmus Højlund as well. Now, moving on to North London. This is Arsenal face a setback in their pursuit of Viktor Gyökeres, with Sporting's valuation being higher than what the Gunners are willing to pay. Now, I'm going to call the media out on this one. I don't think it's a setback. Arsenal will want to pay less than the selling club will want to sell for. This is just basic negotiations at any level of business ever. Barring a consumer walking into a conglomerate like a Tesco's or a Walmart, you don't get to negotiate your pricing there. It's set. But I'm talking about real business negotiations and talks. I want to pay X for your product. You want to sell it for Y. So let's have a conversation. Let us negotiate. I wouldn't call this a setback. Arsenal would have been expecting it. A setback for me, when I think about the definition of setback, it's when something kind of hits you unexpectedly, frustratingly, gets in your way. Arsenal would have been expecting this. Yes, it's a delay. Yes, it's a hold-up, but it's expected. This isn't, for me, a problem for Arsenal. If they indeed do pursue Gyökeres again, it's gone very, very quiet on that front. But maybe it did because they're Man United. Everybody was looking at Benjamin Sesko. Most of us were ready to trigger that release clause until he signed a new deal at Leipzig. So I'm very interested to see how this pans out for Arsenal. Many people still think they need a prolific striker, not so much for the additional goals, but for those clutch moments in the Man City's away, in the big Champions League games, which they will undoubtedly be in again next year. What do you think and feel, people, about Gyökeres? Should they be willing to pay the asking price? What do you think is a fair price as well? And that's half the reason we do these transfer videos. It isn't just to say, do we think a story is true or false? That's just old hat. It's basic. It's boring. And that's not you, the Football Terrace community. Want your opinions, your wider opinions on the player and the valuation, or who else? What could the alternatives be? Let us know in the comments section below. Make sure as well you're joining the Football Terrace transfer group chat. We share all our links in there. Our journalists have actually been off this week. A lot of them have been traveling out to Germany, getting themselves set up for the next month. So more stories and updates to come in the group chat soon. So make sure you join it. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all soon. Peace.